Hi, welcome back to another episode of Chris Dyer's Creative Friends, the super awesome podcast show where me, your artist friend Chris Dyer, talks to all his amazing creative friends. Today I'm in New York City and I'm here to interview my good old friend Nicole Palapoli. I got her name right. Yes. Nicole is a fantastic individual, really talented and soulful artist, a strong personality and individual, part of the visionary community, a tattoo artist, body painter, and I visited her at her studio and we had an amazing conversation that I hope you will enjoy. Blessings!
While the world is burning, got to make amends. Walk on the sunny side with a positive lens. Talks about passion between the women and the men. Chris Dyer and his creative friends. Darling, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Thank you so much for having over your beautiful New York studio. Very exciting to be here. Before I start, sorry, I gotta plug my first ever sponsor, Magic Mind, which is a great drink that will relieve our stress, give us focus
need that.
and energy. So yeah, it's got cordyceps and lion's mane and a bunch of other fantastic matcha ingredients. It tastes good. If you want to buy some, Chris Dyer 20 is the code, Magic Mind. Thank you so much. I'm so sick to have a sponsor. Well, salud. I hope you enjoy it.
Health
At
and
least
happiness.
it's not unhealthy.
Ooh, this is good.
It's not bad, right? Yeah. I'm happy that, I got a sponsor now and it's actually something healthy and I actually like how it tastes also.
There's a little sweetness at the end.
Yeah, I must have some apple in the mix. Thank you, Paulina. So, how are we doing today? How's this, what, are we in February? February 2024, the happiest month of the year.
Yeah.
In beautiful New York, we're in Queens.
Uh-huh.
How is, this is a new studio for you?
It's a new studio. Yeah, I just moved in December. And
Okay.
Before that, I was in Queens also, on the other side of the neighborhood, basically.
Uh-huh.
I was there for about 3 years. That was a really beautiful studio. It was a lot wider, a little closer to the park.
Why you leave it?
They sold out to luxury housing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was really sad to leave it.
Mm-hmm.
But this place has been here. It's more established and it's bigger. It's more artist studios and stuff. The other one was like kind of mixed use. So
Yeah, but you live in Manhattan, right?
I live in Manhattan.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
your grandmother.
I do.
It's a fantastic
Yes.
experience.
It is a fantastic experience.
Why would
Everyone
you,
should try it.
Why would you take the train every day to come to a studio as opposed to working at home? What's the importance of
Oh,
having
yeah.
a studio in general?
I do the backwards commute. Like everybody goes from the boroughs into the city, so I go
Uh-huh.
backwards. I basically have the studio for the purpose of tattooing mostly,
Okay.
because I wouldn't be doing it from my house. I want to have it in certain type of conditions here and have it more professional for people. So I bring people here, my clients come, I tattoo them over there, and I don't really need a studio to force me to paint or work on my art. But it is a bigger space than in my house, so that's also nice. And there's sunlight, which is awesome because my apartment's like a cave. It's really dark.
Yeah.
So,
Is it legal for you to just like tattoo anywhere, or
You're not supposed to tattoo in your house. No, you're supposed to have a commercial space.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Is this a commercial space officially?
it's a commercial space. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So this makes you legal.
What are you from the health department right now?
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna report you. I know that much.
That's good. We're good. Everything's awesome.
Yeah, nice. And
Just kidding.
how is it being a New York artist? Like, it seems like that's
Big
like
bad New York
that's
artist.
like the dream to go to
Oh,
New York and
dream.
fulfill your dreams of painting and doing all this
Yeah.
artistic stuff. Is it all that is
Look,
cooked
Mom,
up to
I
be?
made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably is if you're doing it right. I think there's.
I don't live here. I
we're
only
the-
visit. It always
Not you,
looks
but
cool,
if people are doing it right, we're we're full of galleries and there's a huge art scene and things are popping all the time and, there's people to meet and places to be. But I'm not sure if I really cracked the code yet. I've been living here my whole life, and I think my art career has gone in a little bit of different direction since I've been tattooing as my main source of income for so long.
Hmm.
That once that became my career, I didn't really go into the gallery scene as much as I probably should have and be taking advantage of living in Manhattan.
Hmm.
So I couldn't tell you what it's like to be, living it up as like a New York City artist, because I think most of my opportunities, wildly enough, have been in other states, in Florida especially. I've run into different things, or California or something. So um, I hope to in the future like lay a little more foundation here and kind of break into the scene and get my artwork showing.
Yeah, I
I
imagine.
haven't paid it enough attention.
Is it like inspiring to be here at least? Like, is there
Um,
lots of really
there's
cool shows and museums and
there
things popping that you're like, whoa, like on a
there
crush?
is there's so many beautiful artistic things happening in this city. You could definitely just have no plan on any day and go run into an extravagant amount of chaos and artistic behaviors, go into the park watching people dance, sing, musicians, stranger things than that. There's always something going on, so there's always something to be inspired by. There's obviously so many museums and shows and things, but I think the New York natives probably miss that stuff and don't do it as much as we could living here.
Hmm.
It's something you see every day. You don't even realize what a luxury it is to have that such easy access to going here and there. So there was years where I didn't even really partake in any of those things, and
Uh-huh. You take it for granted.
you take it for granted a little bit. Also because when other people come here, they're on vacation, so they don't have business to do. They're not working, and when we're here, we're just working to stay alive. So you're just going, you're on the train, you're back and forth to
And
work,
it's so
and
expensive,
you,
right?
it's very expensive.
So you're just
It's very
basically like
expensive.
living your life working to pay your rent and repeat.
Yeah, I mean, I have plenty of adult friends with jobs who have roommates, and the quality of life here is, it's to achieve what you want. It takes a lot of focus and not necessarily hard work. It really depends on where you have your hands, how you're making your money, but um, it's pretty easy for people to get stuck in kind of the disaster the city brings of how much money it takes to be alive here, and just going out and getting a bottle of water or something. I mean, some food, or
This can of
it's kind of
coconut water was
ridiculous.
$5.
It's no, it's insane. And if you're in the wrong neighborhood, it could be double. You to be here and to be like flourishing, making money, is you have to do it in a right way. You have to really plan for it,
Right. I guess like the
for sure.
question is like, what do you want in life? You want to go out there and become like a big successful whatever career that you do, but then that's all you're doing, and what's the point if you're like unhappy? Or do you want to do what you love while still paying your bills? It seems like you are pulling it off nicely. You get to do what you love 100%. You don't have like a normal job on the side.
Yeah, I don't have a normal job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even though
I've been
art
a
has
living
different levels of
artist.
what you prefer to do, but
Right. Yeah,
still.
I've been staying alive, for some years now
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
art.
Well,
So,
congrats.
yeah, thanks. I've had to like pivot a little bit here and there and pick up other types of money streams and stuff to make it work, and move in with family from time to time to save some money and have this place. But I actually started. I used to be an art teacher for the Board of Education,
Oh, cool.
and that way I would have had a steady paycheck and
For
had
kids?
for it. Well, for art in New York City, you get certified K through 12, so I could have taught any grade, but I
Okay.
was teaching high school.
Okay.
I didn't last long. I lasted 6 months, and I was
Sounds
like, "What
annoying.
this shit?" Yeah, so I just bounced. I just became a tattoo artist. I was like, I can't fucking do this shit. These kids are crazy.
Yeah.
So it turns out that I do like teaching, but I like to teach people who like to learn
Yeah.
on their own. You know, they choose it. They choose the art.
You don't want to force anybody
Public
to do
school
what they
is
don't
for
want to
fucking
do.
angel. Like you had to be some other kind of person to be doing that. Anyways, that was a steady art career. I could have had everything. Just I probably would have been retiring in 5 or 10 years or something. Had a plan, had a pension, whatever. But I just chose another direction and wanted to have more control over the way I made my money and what kind of art I produced, and actually not just teaching people, but actually making the art myself. So I just, pivoted and had to come up with how to, stay alive for all those years. And it's been art the whole time in some kind of different materials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tattooing has filled in the blanks. I've been doing that for 17 years.
Yeah, we all need that aspect of art that pays the bills, so then we can do the aspect of art that we do for the love of it. For me, it's
Yeah.
muralism.
Right.
For you, it's tattooing. And as myself, you also don't like to sell your originals.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you like to sell your originals? It seems like,
Yeah,
is it like to some people that seems like that's the goal of making art. Like I make this painting and I sell it. Like,
yeah.
but I don't understand why. That's the way it is.
I'm like conflicted about it, as we discussed a little bit. I maybe should sell my originals more. I've been hoarding them for many years now because I haven't had to rely on them for my income, because I've had tattooing to fall back on all the time. So I've been just collecting them and waiting for maybe a big show or something in a nice fancy gallery, or maybe, some kind of museum thing, but I haven't really pursued those angles enough to know what to do with them, where to put them. But I'm sort of attached. They're like my babies, and I like to look at them. I like to look at the brush strokes and just go back into my imagination when I created them, what they felt like and what they meant and what they mean now. And, they take a life on of their own. So I don't know. I think I'm just too attached, and at some point I will sell them, especially when I downsize. Like if I, get up out of here and move. So then I would
No, but
consider
if you
selling
move,
them.
you're probably gonna have an even bigger house with more
yeah, then I never have to
walls.
sell them.
Yeah. Why not? You should have a show on during the next Miami Art Basel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
look that
like
up for me. Figure that out.
That's
Somebody.
Well, you should go up to Ray from Moksha.
Is anyone watching this? Let's go.
Yeah. Ray from Moksha, like
yeah, I
the
painted
show
with
that
him.
I did a couple years ago. I just rented his place.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
he-
Yeah, I did a couple of conventions with him a couple of years ago. It wasn't last year. It was the Basel before that. We did some conventions together. The mushroom thing at the convention center. And the festival. Yeah, Canadelic. And then we did that other little festival. What was it called? Stella was there.
Art with me.
Yeah. Oh, good. You know everything.
Yeah, because I painted it too.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw you there.
So
Shit,
yeah, I
that
was
you.
painting a mural.
Right.
So that is a possibility. You rent the gallery and you bring your collection, since you're there in Miami every year anyways. And you invite all your
that might be a good
friends,
idea.
and fuck if you sell or not, like you can afford it, like by doing tattoos, and then you get to show the beauty of your soul to the community, which I think is what you want to do.
I do. I do
Yeah.
like that part of it. And I guess they're not really seeing it in this hidden room in the middle of nowhere.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, these are just suggestions, but yeah. So you're a great painter. I love your
Thanks.
paintings.
So are you.
You got different themes and styles and great technique. How do you learn to paint so well? Like
a
where
great
did this come
question, Chris.
from? Because I look at these paintings like, wow, this is really good. Did you go to school? Or when we were at Halloween and you busted a mural era, it was
shit.
like, what the fuck's up with this?
crazy,
With
right?
Nicole, like she's so talented. Like
I was waking up at like fucking 7 o'clock. Everyone was partying all night. And I was fucking going to sleep in the RV at like fucking 8 o'clock.
You had an
And then
RV.
I was in Jen's RV, and all those fucking DJs were bah, 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 bah in the
no.
RV, and I was like, shut up, I'm going to sleep. And then I wake up, I'd be the only one awake in the whole fucking campgrounds, painting, and then be asleep when everyone was partying. What was the question?
So
how do
hard
I
work.
paint? How do
Why
I know
you're
how to
so
paint?
talented?
Okay.
Explain to me, where does this amazing
Alright.
talent come from?
I'll let you in on my secret.
Okay.
You just keep painting. I don't know. You just
Did
paint
you
forever.
go to school? Did you
I
learn
went
by
to school.
yourself?
Yeah, I went to the School of Visual Arts. It's in Midtown, in Manhattan.
Okay.
I
How many years?
I graduated. I went for 4 years.
Okay.
Got a degree.
Fine arts school?
Yeah. It's a visual arts school, but so they have a film. They have different shits or whatever. They have
What was your
sculpture stuff.
program?
I actually did animation. I was doing stop motion animation. So see that little creepy character over there?
Yeah.
That guy up there? He's
Yeah.
an animated
Okay.
character. He has like a skeleton.
Mhm.
So I used to do kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Stop motion.
Stop motion?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
I never worked to doing that. I didn't like it. It was too tedious and it was
Yeah.
too many people on the set. Like, it's not your art. Maybe
Yeah.
you're lucky if you're moving a hand for a year
Yeah.
or something. So I
Yeah.
just didn't want to do that. And then
Mm.
so I did go to school. I got more of an education there. I did painting, sculpture, sewing, puppets, stuff like that. And then I wouldn't blame my artistic skills on that college though. I really think most of them came from my own pursuits after and just kind of fucking up a lot, just doing the wrong thing and then making it right. And I kind of take the long way around a lot when I make art. I have a plan, I have a skeleton, and then I just kind of fuck it up a little bit and then I fix it. And I think in those moments is when I really discover like where my true talent lies is kind of letting the painting unfold in a way where it's showing me what to do. And most of my skill, I think, is almost coming from the other side of it.
In those moments where you fuck it up, do you feel it's irreparable and
Yeah.
that it's pointless?
Always.
And why should I keep on working at this painting? I
Yes.
should just start something new.
Always.
Do you ever give up?
Yeah.
Or do you always push through every painting?
I give up all the time and then push through like a second later. So I think if a true artist, like it's impossible to give up. You just live and breathe no matter what, no matter how much you hate art or how much you fuck something up, you just can't be alive without making it and fixing it. So I constantly push myself past the moment of wanting to give up. And I think that's what is the only thing that distinguishes like a person who's not an artist and a person who is an artist is that they keep pushing past the points of uncomfortability and the points of failure and the points of sadness and exhaustion where you think you're not talented enough. We just keep pushing past there and like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep going, Like every piece of art that I've ever made in my entire life was ugly. It was fucking terrible. I was embarrassed, ashamed of it. Probably for 90% of it until the end, it just sparks and you're like, oh shit, that shit's fucking hot. And then it clicks and you're like, wow, I'm so glad I believed for 1 second that I could push through that and that I have a talent in there and I brought out some kind of beauty in this art. So you just keep going and you just keep exploring and it's like a microcosm of life. It's in that canvas or in whatever piece of sculpture, artwork, you are faced with every bit of life's challenges. And I think only an artist understand that, but it's true. Like you're battling or working with your every bit of your expression, your heart, your soul, your mind. You're putting into that. You're facing all of these things, battling your strengths, your weaknesses, and you come out the other side. Whether it looks good or bad or something, at least you brought something into creation that wasn't there before. Give it your all, and it's on there, and it's and then you fucking let people look at it and judge you. It's fucking intense.
Yeah, but it's almost like you have to go through that process enough times to know, okay, it's not looking great right now. And I know it, but I've already gone through this enough times that I know that eventually I'm going to pull it off and I just got to keep on pushing. But at the beginning, probably you're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work out.
Every time. But you're right. For like every single bit of art I've ever made, it's a quest to like believing in myself. And then at the end, I'm like, fucking kill that shit.
Does it give you like confidence in the rest of your life? And things that are not artistic?
Yeah, I think so. That's a good question. I think that I really try to keep pushing myself into the direction of things I'm scared of. Maybe it does come from that, you know, that
Mhm.
little self exploration. I'm always challenging myself in my artwork and stuff. And I, in my real world, also like push myself into really uncomfortable situations a lot and surprise myself. Sometimes I fuck up and I'm just like, oh, that shit is like, have to hit that one again, like go back to that
Who doesn't
that
do?
weakness spot. But for the most part, I think I, grow little bits at a time and become a better person at the end. And if I could blame it on art,
Uh-huh.
that's a good comparison.
Totally. Would you say painting is your main medium? Because as you said, you are also a tattoo artist and you also do body painting, right?
Yeah, I do body painting also. I definitely spend the most hours of my life painting. I keep meaning to like become a sculptor. I really love sculpting, but I just
Uh-huh.
haven't given attention in like a decade.
Yeah. No,
I
there's
would
just
like
so
to
there's so
again.
many video games in art that like you see other artists go and I'm like, fuck, like I want to do that. Even animation,
Yeah.
like I
Oh
wanted to do
yeah.
animation at one point and be like, wow, wouldn't it be great to like put in a year and get really good at these new
Yeah.
technologies? And but it's like you,
Every time I finish a painting, I'm like, don't fucking start a new one. Go
uh-huh.
sculpt something or go sew something. I used to make puppets and things. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to make a puppet. I haven't done that shit in so long. It's so much fun. And then I just accidentally pick up a canvas and there I go. And then I have like 5 new paintings. And I'm like, shit, that's like another year of,
Well, you're
I guess
being
I'm just doing that.
faithful. You're being faithful to a painting first,
Yeah.
but you're being faithful to the focus of just painting because you could dig a bunch of wells and not strike water on a bunch of them,
Mm,
or you could just go really deep into one and super crush it.
right.
Maybe at
Yeah.
one point you'll be like, oh, I just painted so many paintings that it's less
Yeah.
interesting to me. I know I'm gonna pull it off. I need a new challenge. So let's
Mm-hmm.
pick up that ball of clay and
Yeah.
make something out of it and see if you can pull it off.
Yeah, it's on the horizon. I keep kind of forgetting and then reminding myself. So I hope to do that more often. But body painting, I don't do often. It's really just if I'm invited somewhere, doing something
You
special.
learned that in school or
No, I don't know. I guess I learned it tattooing. I don't know. It's kind of
during
connected.
tattooing?
No, I just mean it's, I practice in my career, my tattooing career.
Uh-huh.
I practice dressing the body,
Uh-huh.
and so it's just, I guess, a natural evolution of mixing my love of painting with my,
Yeah.
love of tattooing. And I, just like to see people covered in like some kind of beautiful,
Yeah. It's
you
cool. Have you
know,
ever seen Skin Wars?
yeah.
Was it Skin Wars? That was
I think
that
so. Yeah,
reality
I've
competition
seen like
show?
clips. Like I don't like watch it or whatever, but I've seen they
Yeah.
do like extravagant shit, right? Like prosthetics and stuff. That one.
It was mostly painting, from
Oh,
what I
okay.
remember. It's on Netflix. They
Mm,
had 3 seasons,
yeah.
and it was pretty fun to look as an artist. It was
Mm-hmm.
quick. It was like you got an hour to do this
Yeah.
crazy concept, and they're all like all stressing out. But it was cool to see them like different styles, and of course they're pushing the whole personality
They
and
like fight
drama
with
and
each
blah blah
other.
blah. But it was still like a reality show based on art, and I was always like, wow, that seems like it would be fun to body paint. But
Mm-hmm.
I've only really painted my own face like
Yeah.
for fun at festivals. But
It's cool to paint other people and
uh-huh.
make them feel really beautiful, like more beautiful than they feel.
Yeah.
And there's something about kind of you take on the persona or the character of the colors and the
Uh-huh.
style of the shapes that you put on them, or
Yeah.
especially if they have a request, like I want to look like this or I want to
Uh-huh.
feel like this. Or especially I love like to paint pregnant women
Mm.
and they just fucking light up. It's so beautiful because they're already like glowing. They have a baby
Mm-hmm.
inside of them cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just make them feel like such a like a an extra beautiful goddess, and
Like a
they feel
superhero of
like almost
magic.
more comfortable in their skin. It's such a beautiful thing.
Uh-huh.
And then you just wash it off and it's gone.
Do you do
It's
that
like
as a job, charging at events, or
I'd
do
like
people?
to charge a lot at
Uh-huh.
events. Yeah, I mean, I've done some things. Here and there, it's been me just showing up, trying to, get something exciting going or whatever. But I also like, offer different packages people can buy if they want to like, become adorned by some kind of body paint or
Mm-hmm.
something that's on my website they can, look through or whatever.
Is it
Um,
awkward? To be so
You
close
know,
to perhaps a stranger and be like painting their skin? Like, do
it
you ever,
should be, right? But I think,
like, to me, like the little bits that I've like painted bodies of strangers,
oh yeah,
especially if it's a
I
girl,
painted like nude
I'm
people in
like,
Times Square in the middle
yeah,
like of
that
the
seems
open.
hella awkward.
It's fucking, you would think it would be, but I guess I think I'm so like awkward and like overly uh compensating that it's so unawkward that we're just fucking laughing usually the
You
whole
seem
time.
very confident to
I
me,
I mean, okay, so when I tattoo, I've been tattooing for many years. So
which
that
is
is
also very
it's the
close
same thing.
proximity.
It's very intimate. It's just one-on-one and you're talking, you're kind of like sharing life stories or whatever or whatever you're talking about. But it's kind of a one-on-one. So you have to, I think, in a way, become like a chameleon with someone's personality if you want them to feel comfortable. So I think I'm just good at getting to figure out how to make people feel comfortable, especially if they're like in a really uncomfortable situation where like nude in Times Square or something.
Mm,
So also I'm like really professional, so I'm not gonna make them feel weird. Like
you're
I
not
want them
flirting.
to feel really beautiful. Oh
Yeah.
no, I definitely would not be flirting with them. That's like, like
Do
just
you ever have to
me
like paint
working.
men, or is it always
I've
women?
painted men before.
Yeah.
I wouldn't now, but I have painted men
Is
before.
that more awkward?
It was pretty awkward in the beginning because, we're all both like uncomfortable and stuff. But like I said, like I think I have a way of like calming people down
Yeah.
somehow, just because I'm professional and I'm really thinking about the art.
Yeah. I
So
don't
it
know
just
what
worked and it was fine.
I don't know what would be more awkward or nerve-wracking for me if I was to do it. A girl or
Uh-huh.
woman because it's a woman and I'm a man,
Yeah.
or a guy
Either
because it's
one's
a
weird.
man on
It's pretty
man.
weird.
Both would be like, sorry,
I
I'm
mean, there's
reaching
a
out too
moment. It's
close
weird.
to that area, dude.
It's a moment where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing for work right
Uh-huh.
now? This is like a very strange scenario. But at the end, when you see, especially if you're in a group of all like artists, like I've done a couple of events where, there's 30 artists and we're all doing somebody's
So at that
painting
point,
body.
it's just,
And you see everyone lined up and you're like, fuck, this shit is beautiful. Like, what an
yeah.
expression,
If the container's there and it's the
Yeah.
vibe, you probably don't even let your
Right.
mind go there. I'm just thinking about it because I don't do it, and I'm like, whoa, is
Yeah.
it weird?
But
Like,
there's been people who asked me, hey, would you come and do this party? It's a private party. I'm just like, hell no. You sound
no,
like a
you
fucking
guys
creep, bro. Get
sound
the fuck out of here.
creepy.
Yeah. Like, I'm not showing up where? Nah, hell.
Have you ever
So-
had like a client with tattooing that you're like, God damn, I don't want to be doing this right now. They're giving me a weird vibe, or
Yeah.
this area of their body is not making me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Can you ever just be like, you know what? I can't do this. Thank you very much. Go look for somebody
Yeah.
else.
That's interesting to bring up. I've had to do that. Yeah. Luckily, because I'm private now, like I used to work in shops. I had a shop myself with employees and stuff. Now it's just me here. So now I'm very particular about who I even take on.
Uh-huh.
Especially I'm alone, so I'm very particular and I don't take like freaky weird shit because I just really don't want to be in that personal space with somebody, I've had to turn clients away. Like I would love to tell the story. It should be really fucking funny, but in case this person watches this shit, I'm not gonna tell the story.
You
But
don't want to hurt any feelings.
nah, I mean, but like I've had some people where they have just been really aggressively uncomfortable and put me in really awkward situations where, I was like, fuck, am I gonna die right now? Like I need to call somebody.
Whoa.
So those clients I've gotten rid of where
Mm.
they've really pushed it to the limit and been really disrespectful and, I won't do that anymore. I don't take strangers because
Is it
because
a
of that.
different dynamic to be a female tattoo artist than a male tattoo artist?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost gotta be like extra tough to be like, all right, dude,
Oh.
I'm gonna be close to you, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's a good question too. Like when I first started tattooing, there was really not that many female tattoo artists, especially like, I live in New York and, our population of people is like a little like, maybe more edgy than some other places. And the people who were getting tattooed that many years ago were different caliber people. Like it wasn't like the fucking soccer moms and shit back then and grandmas. It was
Or
like
punks.
yeah, punks or like, fuck the government people or like, or, whatever. It's fucking I don't know, jail.
Our kind of people.
Jail, exactly. Like, ex-cons and shit, gang members, I don't know. But, like, when I started, it was just different. Like, the people I tattooed were different. Like, it was people coming out of prison. They're telling me fucking crazy stories.
Yeah.
So I also worked with a bunch of dudes at that point. So I was the only chick that worked in the shop. And I had to fucking, like, hold my own. Like, I really had to put on a really rough edge to survive and not be disrespected in there. And I've had to, like, do things to, like, scream at people, like, get them out of the studio. I mean, I almost fought somebody's grandpa one time.
Wow.
His grandson was like a crackhead. He stole some fucking money from me and shit. This interview's getting weird.
No, it's good. I'm trying to explore how you get to be so badass.
This is not what I thought we were talking about. But anyway, so I did have to put on a character. Like, the people, you're not dealing with, like, doctors and lawyers back then.
Yeah.
You're really having to be tough.
Yeah.
And then you're also, you're doing something that's really intimate. Sometimes people are taking clothing off. You're giving them pain, which is another level of weirdness.
You're making them very vulnerable.
Making them vulnerable, but they act tough. But
do you ever have like a patient, if you want to call it that, or a canvas, like, get so mad you're like, I had enough of you hurting me.
Oh my God.
Fuck you, and get mad, like, because I know when I got
people
the
get
back
mad
of my
at me.
head.
People say fucking foul shit to me, but it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't care. They could be mad. I'm torturing them. Like,
Yeah.
they want it. They want the art. It comes out pretty at the end, but I'm sometimes torturing people. Like, it hurts. So they get mad at me. They curse or they say, like, rude shit.
You're like, you asked me to do this to you.
Like, oh, you said go harder? Okay. Whatever. But I had one guy one time was, oh shit, I just fucked up the mic.
Okay.
This beefy fucking motorcycle dude that's, like, covered in tattoos and shit. And he wanted this, like, thing on his sternum. And I was like, all right, let's go. So I'm tattooing him. It's killing him. This dude is fucking dying. And then he's like, he just jumps off the table. He's like, I got a meeting. I gotta go. And I'm like, you don't have to go. Just say it hurts. Like, just say it hurts. It's fine. He's like, nah, I have a meeting at work. I gotta go right now. I'm like, you just laid down 15 minutes ago. You have 3 hours left on this fucking tattoo. You can't go anywhere. I have to finish the stencil. Whatever. He just made up some shit. He didn't come back for like 6 months. He comes back the next time. I tattoo him again. He's like fucking jumped off the chair again, like 15 minutes. I don't think we ever even finished it, but I don't know. I just get a kick out of this stuff.
Do you feel like you're going to do tattooing forever? Like, most tattoo artists that I've known get over it after a few years just because of the precise position you got to hold for so long. And it's not that great for your back, right?
I have a lot of occupational hazards, like body parts in pain now. It's been tough. I hoped that I would have planned my life out, that I could have been retired already from it and moved on to, the world of paint or something to make my income. But I haven't figured out how to maneuver yet. But I don't see myself doing this a forever thing. It's very taxing on the body and mind. And, there's a lot of to it. There's a lot of levels of personality that you're interacting with someone so intensely in that situation that it takes a lot to be that focused. And, I kind of relate it to, I'm not a doctor, obviously, or a surgeon, but I think like the intensity that we have to focus has to be up there with people who are like, we're even more almost. I know that maybe that's just, too big of a head to get into to, make the comparison, but the intricacies that we are drawing into these people's flesh takes so much concentration that's so exhausting. You
can't fuck up.
You can never fuck up. And guess what? You're gonna fuck up. So the level of stress, at least for me, maybe other people are just like, oh, shit's fucking easy. I'm fucking killing this shit. Yeah. For me, it's a stressful job, and I also am a perfectionist, so it makes it, that much more like, oh shit, this shit is crazy. So, it's just very intense. It's hard to keep up with, and it's just very taxing on the body. So I definitely hope to like make money in other ways soon.
I'm sure.
And then take on projects that I just like super, super love at some point. and then, you know.
I'm sure things will ease off and the road will show us. I feel the same way with muralism because like that's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
I can make good money making murals, and then I can make my paintings at home and chill out a couple months and do my artsy thing and do my projects like the podcast and my book and etc. Because I can afford it.
Right.
Because I do the murals.
Yeah. The murals are tough on your body too.
It's tough on my body.
Yeah.
It's like it's a wall. And I gotta do it sometimes in one afternoon.
Yeah,
and
no,
I gotta
you'd
go
be
up.
fucking flying through that shit too. I don't even know how. You're crazy
crush.
with it.
Like my knees are like a lots of bent, like all the lower areas is me just crouched, and my knees are like ugh, and bend overs and up, and the lather and the scaffolding and the fumes too. I'm just like it's a cloud of plastic. Even with the mask, I'm still breathing that shit in.
No.
So I'm like, I can't live
it's not
this
really
way forever.
Sustainable.
No, like
when I was doing those murals, when I saw you in Miami, it's the opposite of tattooing. It's fucking huge. The whole body is working doing this shit. And me, I'm sitting here like this. So my eyes are like fucking fuzzy and my, cramped up and my hands are cramped and stuff. When I was doing the murals, I was like, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't fucking walk for a week, And I was just up and down the ladder. It was 100,000 degrees out. I was burnt. My whole skin was burned on my back.
It's an outdoor
I'm sweating.
activity.
I was on a fucking crookedy ass ladder on a crooked sidewalk or whatever, and a fucking bumblebee almost murdered me. It wasn't a bumblebee. The ones with the stingers.
Those
Shit
wasps.
chased me off the ladder. I almost died. I'm fucking like having heat stroke from the sun, and I was like holding all my paints and paintbrushes because there was no shelf on the ladder. I'm like, yo, I'm about to die for this free ass mural right now.
Muralism, it's an outdoor street activity. Like I don't indoor mural paint because of the fumes. So it's like me and the sun just cooking me all around the world.
No, yeah.
Or if it's colder weather like Berlin or Canada, it's me like freezing my hand with a metal can and my fingers falling off.
Yeah.
And all the elements, the people on the street, and many times it's lovely.
Yeah.
Like a granny being like, oh, that's amazing.
But then you talk, so then you're like doing that for like 2 hours with strangers. You're like, whoops, forgot to paint.
Right. Or sometimes it's a place where the people intimidate me and I'm feeling kind of like a danger, but like I'm trying to do my art thing. So yeah, lots of elements in that. Like, or do you think you would want to do more murals? Was that a fun video game to play?
I actually loved it, but it was just if I was like physically in the shape of like being able to do that more, I think I'd have to fucking train to be a muralist, which I would love to do. I actually loved the feeling of like doing that big scale. It was super fucking challenging to go that big because I don't even paint that big. It's like my biggest shit right here. So
it's very yoga-ish because like those moves are
full
like
body.
Wow, but as you said, like it can hurt you, especially when you're only using one arm and the other arm is kind of like dead.
And even just like the leg that I was balancing on. But I loved to learn the new like toughness of that occupation. I used to do murals back in the day, like kids' rooms and stuff, ceilings, whatever. But outdoor murals, I've only done really like maybe 3 or 4 or whatever.
The one you did at Halloween was great.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was a nice size. It was ground level.
It was low. That was achievable. Yeah, I would, if I could pick them, they would never be on a ladder. That would be nice.
Pieces like that, because you do a lot of what I guess we would consider realism or fantastic realism. Do you use references for the faces and subject matters that you paint?
Sometimes, yeah. I like to use my friends. Or sometimes.
Where's the Chris Dyer painting?
That's coming next. Coming next.
Yeah.
I like to use my friends or family or somebody, or sometimes I'll just put like 10 different faces together, or sometimes I'll steal a little internet person and change some shit.
Is the people right above you there with the 2 lovers writing each other's chests?
Yes.
Is that Rani? No.
No. Who?
Rani, she's a student from COSM.
No,
or
I
is
don't know
that
who she
Alex
is.
Polanco there?
No. Oh, God. He will love that you said that. He'd be like, I would never post for that bitch doing that shit. No, that's not him.
Like, how do you get that? That's like a full-on sexual activity?
Oh, great question, Chris. Thanks for asking.
I got a big porno collection.
Sometimes, like, I will use friends to pose for things. Sometimes I'll pose for things and then change stuff so that I don't like violate my own privacy. Or sometimes I would just basically take a bunch of scenes, you know, a bunch of images from Google or something, and then Frankenstein that shit, you know. Or I'll like pose, like use my hand or something. I take images from everywhere, so there's nothing off limits really. I just change them to make them mine. This is all in like digital form prior to the painting. Then once I'm painting, I also change different elements so that it's like really not the person that I'm starting with, or sometimes you know, I change them completely by just like throwing another mouth on there, whatever. So it's different, but I'm not really, because I do a lot of figurative work, I'm not really just making it up from my head ever.
Yeah.
Because I think that it looks really fake. So I am like either finding a model or just using, you know, modeled people or something.
Do you sketch and know the concept of your painting before you paint it? Or do you just get a skeleton and then just go off and see where inspiration takes you?
I like to be really prepared. I'm really organized in that way, which maybe is different than some artists, but I like to have a really clear plan, especially if I'm doing something with geometry or something. I like to have things measured out. And, you know, I'll make a digital mock-up of the painting, and then I'll even transfer it on so that I don't have to draw from scratch, and then I'll just go for it with the colors, whatever. Following my skeleton, but then changing as it goes. But once in a while, I'll just do some random shit, see what happens. But I kind of usually get mad at myself when I do that because I'm like, fuck, I should have planned it. This shit is like a millimeter off. Now it's pissing me off.
Right.
So I really like to be more focused and have a plan, and then just venture off into a slightly different direction with like color choices or mood or something.
I recently did a realistic piece, a self-portrait, and I don't do a lot of realism, but I wanted to do a self-portrait which required it looking like me and doing a specific composition. And then for the first time ever, I projected the digital composition onto a canvas and traced the line work and then started painting. Do you use projectors? What's your line of what's allowed and what's not allowed? Like there's some artists that straight up do the whole digital composition and then even print it and then they paint on top of it. Is that going too far, or is there no rules? What's your line?
I'm such an art snob. I'm sorry. I hate when people just print shit out and then paint on top of it. Like it's still okay. You're still flexing your creativity muscles and stuff, and you're still an artist and everything. But I don't know. I like when people like suffer a little bit for it, to be honest. They're like a little old school. Like, okay, I guess I cheat. I don't project. I don't have a projector. I should get a fucking projector. Like, if anyone wants to send me a projector, you can.
They're not expensive.
But yeah, I just never, I don't know. I just like kind of go the hard way. So I make my little digital, you know, sketch, right? And then I print it out at real size, and then I flip it over, and then I rub like a China marker on the back, a grease pencil, and then I lay it on the canvas, and then I draw, and then I am like, you know, transferring a little outline of stuff. I don't know. I just like working for it a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's
sometimes I just draw shit on, like these guys. I just painted on. I didn't even draw that on. I just painted it on. I mean, it took me 100 extra hours because I did it the hard way. That big diamond one back there, I drew that on without measuring. That shit was really stupid. I do not recommend. And
but
because
you
it
know
took
you
an
can do
extra,
it.
probably 200 hours.
You want to do it, at least do it
just
a
because
couple
I don't know
times.
why I was just consumed with no, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to measure it. I'm going to just draw circles with a string. I didn't have a printer at the time. It was like COVID. I was in the middle of nowhere, like didn't have my normal, not in the middle of nowhere, but I wasn't in my studio. I didn't have a printer. I didn't have like my supplies. I just fucking drew. And
but that feels
it's,
better,
you know,
no?
it felt, it was really painful, but it feels really better at the end to know that I fucking really did that shit with my brain.
It's like playing the video game on difficult setting.
Yeah, and even when I paint, even when I tattoo, like people use like 100 paint colors. I use 5 paint colors. Like I use primaries and white and black. Like for some reason, I use like shitty paints. I use shitty paint brushes. I just like to like see what I can do with really difficult palettes.
Nicole.
What?
Why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know. It's just
Like
something about
I get making it difficult on yourself, but also don't torture yourself.
I don't know what it is. It's just like
I think you deserve good brushes and
like,
good paint. You deserve quality materials.
I should. No, my friends used to get on me. They're like, you should really get better stuff. You don't know what you're missing. And the thing is, I don't know what I'm missing. I think I've struggled through the process of like forcing my paints to do what they want really slowly, or do what I want them to do, that I've never used like really good paints or,
props
really
to you for pulling these amazing paintings with low budget, student grade.
And you can too.
Stuff, but like it's that time has passed and honor
I should
yourself.
upgrade. I should probably, maybe get into this century with the supplies that I use, getting a projector,
And you don't
using
have to do projector. Like I
Midjourney
would say, like
to make my art for me,
that's-
and then I'll
to
just
me,
like
that's
squirt
going
some
too
paint
far.
on top of it.
to me that's going too far. To me that you just took
no.
away all the fun part of doing art. Like
I like to see I like to see the thought process of a painter when I look at art. Like anytime I see anybody's art, I fucking go up so close to it and I'm just like, oh shit, look at this line. It's crooked. I love it. Or like it's, you could see in the tightness of the way someone paints, their entire brain, how it's working. All of the the layers of thinking and thinking and thinking that they had to do to change it and to make it better or worse, or and the imperfection is where all the beauty is, the humanness. Yes, so that compared to something that's so perfect and precise, even if I'm measuring something and stenciling it and its geometry, I won't finish it with like a ruler or something. I'll still have like a wiggly human line. Like if you inspect anything, you'll be like, shit isn't perfect, but just like, crooked or whatever. But I don't know, I just like that part of it.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
This shit is like, boop.
Yeah, no.
But it also drives me crazy.
Well, there is no.
It's like I leave it a little messed up to just like
it's
you could do
human
better.
because like as humans, there's no perfect human. Even the most gorgeous model isn't 100% symmetrical.
Right.
We are organic beings, and our paintings are reflections of our organic self. If we put it through the filter of a computer that's a bunch of zeros and ones and mathematics and makes it all purpose, why are we even alive anymore? I'm alive because I want to express myself and to let my
You're alive to
expression
type prompts into Midjourney.
Yeah, it's like, hey, computer, make me a painting that makes me look like I'm the best artist in the world. It's like, why am I even bothered? I'm just faking being an artist now. And this is not to insult any, like, AI artists.
Yes, it is. Pick up a fucking pencil.
I don't know. There's some people who maybe were born to be AI artists. I see some AI art where I'm like, that shit looks dope.
It's fucking dope.
But
it's dope,
maybe
but it's
they're not
fucking
painters.
soul. There's no soul. I'm sorry. You can't. You just can't inject a fucking soul in there. Like this.
There's no human
You have
soul.
a human.
There's no human soul. Maybe there's a soul of an extraterrestrial being that is using the computer or the AI terrarium to express itself.
Yeah.
It's not human, but perhaps there is some God consciousness in there playing around. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Or the aliens are us from the future, and it's really just.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
It's your future
all,
self coming
I'm
at you.
pretty sure all of us in this room are aliens expressing a human reality. So AI art's not for you then.
I mean, I'll fuck with it.
Have you ever?
I just started playing with it a little bit.
Midjourney?
Okay. No, something called what's it called? Moon Valley or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been making like something with it. We can't disclose yet. Okay. This is top secret.
Come on.
Sorry. But it's cool. It's fucking magnificent. That shit, it makes something in 5 seconds that would take me 6 years to make. I appreciate it. It's beautiful.
Does it bring you satisfaction?
I mean, it's like, oh shit, I didn't have to work for that. That's awesome. So yes, but does it fill my soul? No. But is that where I go to fill my soul? No. No, I would never be like, oh my God, I thought of this from my brain and made it with my
Would you use
hands.
it as
Like,
a reference for a painting that you?
yes, I could.
Okay.
If it figures out the proper lighting. Like, I can see where using it from time to time helps, and it's dumb to not use tools that can help you.
Yeah.
But I will never abuse the tools
Yeah.
to, replace the value of my like efforts and
Yeah.
and work that I've and the enjoyment of, pouring my soul into something. Like, I'm sorry, but it's like all I have to give. So I'm just gonna I
Yeah.
can never be replaced with a robot. So
Right, totally. I have not done any AI art yet. I once I tried to even do something and I failed at even
yeah.
that, and I was like, this is not interesting to me. But then another part of me like, hey, dude, like, if art's a race, which I don't believe art's a race or a competition, but like if everybody else is using it and everybody becomes like these magnificent artists with the best reference in the world, and you're still just coming up with things from your mind and drawing it with pencil in
Yeah.
a sketchbook and then figuring out how to make it look nice, you are making it more difficult for yourself to make something epic, and maybe you'll look like primitive compared to these modern artists that have
Yeah.
tools that are so advanced. And is that good? Is that not good? Maybe perhaps being primitive will be valued in a future where AI
I
is so
hope so.
technological, you know?
I think people are even getting a little tired of it now. I feel like there was a huge boom last year, a couple years ago, and people were like, yo, look at this shit, this shit is fucking fire, or whatever. Now it's like, all right, well, there's like 10 fingers on one hand, the eye is crooked, you fucking got 3 ears, like, what are you doing? So I think people see the flaws in it. But if you can find or a balance between what it's useful for and what it isn't useful for, and use it to your benefit,
Yeah.
and you're still a real artist, or an analog artist, so you use your actual hands to create things, you can use it to your benefit, and that's it. I don't see it. I keep thinking like, oh, it's going to take over, it's going to replace all of us, and which, yeah, it could if we let it, but it's never gonna replace like the guts and the like juice of like who human beings really are.
Yeah.
So I'm not super concerned. I think people are getting exhausted of it because it all looks the same. I mean, it's gorgeous and everything, but it's all just like the same regurgitated, stolen bits and pieces of our art in the first place, wherever it's learning from, right? It's just
I feel bad
stealing.
for the artists whose art is straight up ripped off. Like that
Yeah.
art like looks like somebody's art.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is because they're not crediting it.
Right.
Whoever was the one who invented those kinds of styles.
Yeah.
Like I've seen AI art of Chris Dyer and it doesn't look like my art. So I'm like, okay, I'm safe because they haven't been able to figure out what makes a Chris Dyer painting a Chris Dyer painting.
Yeah, Alex told me that. He said that you could just pop in all of your artwork and then you could be like, AI, make artwork that looks like my artwork. And then it just basically makes your own shit, like what would be your own next painting from your own stuff. Like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm doing that
But-
with the Android people, with Android Jones and his Chimera project. And I don't know if I'm shooting myself on the foot by doing it. It's like, oh, you're making it easy for them to figure out how to rip you off. Or if they're going to use my style, let's use it in a way that it actually looks cool and that people can create Chris Dyer on the side. And like, I'm sustained. I pay my bills. I don't have to make money out of every term, whatever. And if my art's medicine, hey, more medicine for the people. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see what the future brings us. Let's go back to your real paintings and the
Okay.
subject matter. So,
Yeah.
would you say your art is visionary?
I would say that it fits into that category for sure. I don't like stand behind the term, I know people use it to describe art like my art. But I don't want to be suffocated by the term either. I kind of just make art, and whatever category it falls in is where it falls. But if visionary art means that you have to have some kind of hallucinatory vision to make it, some apply, some don't. So I don't.
Do you hallucinate sometimes?
Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, not often, but it's not like on my daily activities anymore. But
was there a time where it was
it
a
was
daily
never my
thing for
daily
you?
activities.
Mushrooms every day.
Every day, wake up, eat mushrooms. No, yeah, I don't really. It's not really that intense for me. Like I've gone through phases where I've experimented with different things, but it's not like I don't really do anything. I don't even smoke weed. I don't drink nothing. So, well, the only hallucinations I'm having is from my own fucking brain at this point.
Yeah. Do you have interdimensional mystical visions that come purely from your own spiritual process as an evolving human?
Yeah, so I would say that okay, yeah, all of my art has come from my own human experience. Um, I there's one piece is that round the oval one up there with the snake head and the tetrahedron, the star thing.
Yeah, like
That
a
was
pillow.
oh yeah, like this. That was the only thing that was like a hallucination
Okay.
where I became this object.
Uh-huh.
And was having like a real experience where I basically like became this kind of like energetic engine and my head popped off and I turned into a snake and I was fucking shot into outer space and full of electricity and beyond the fucking universe and
Was that like a
touching God.
DMT situation?
That was ayahuasca.
Wow.
But other than that, everything else has really just come from things I've seen and felt. And I guess I think that as things happen in my life, I think when I'm in the midst of having some kind of intense situation go on in my life, I just think in visual
Mm.
automatically. Some people think in words or they think in maybe colors or something. I think and like paintings show up. Like stuff, I go through something and a painting shows up in my head.
Mm.
And then I start exploring it. This feels like that. This feels like that. And I think my imagination, like I'm sure you guys, you've been exercising your imagination, practicing for so many years that it's so developed that it's just, you're not probably even really trying so hard that, I just think that the way that I process my emotions is visually.
Mm-hmm.
So things just are in there floating around. Something happens. I'm like, oh shit, that shit makes me feel like this. And then it's like, oh, okay, a painting.
Cool.
So I don't know. What was the question? Did I even?
Well,
I don't know what
it
you said.
seems to me like your art is indeed a spiritual expression of feelings.
Yeah.
Like what
Right.
is a soul? Who are you? And this being that navigates in this meat suit has emotions and you're expressing it through visions. It's almost like
Yeah.
people who see colors, who see sounds with colors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah. So you see feelings with
I think I
visions.
can I can see my feelings. Right. That's
Mhm.
wow.
And I would
That's
say
deep.
that is a visionary thing. Like the whole definition of what is visionary art, it really changes depending on the person. Some people's like, it's drugs. And Alex Gray would be like, it's the mystic experience, which could come from
Yeah.
medicines. But life is a mystical experience in a way.
Yeah. I think that like the medicines or whatever, you hopefully have already been on that wavelength first or that path of education. Like for me, I was already kind of exploring those type of like metaphysical ideas and reading books from when I was pretty young. That once I even like, put my toe in the world of like plant medicines, I was like, oh, okay, this is just like validating the things that I understand about like quantum physics and metaphysical world, universe and things like that, and just kind of putting it all together where I'm like, oh, okay, this all makes sense to me and I'm going to express it in this way. And yeah, I think basically once you step into that realm as an artist, I think what happens to me is the paintings just paint themselves. And I am, just a vessel of this otherworldly, super consciousness of, God entity, whatever you want to call it, like, and it just like comes through me and it pours onto the canvas, and I'm just like kind of pushing the paint around at the mercy of some universal like divine power. So someone's lucky to be part of the experience, but So it's like me and the whole universe painting it together, I guess, by the end of the
Right.
day, like I just can't even take the full credit because there's ideas that come to me that I don't feel like I always put there. And the paint starts moving around in this way. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't know you were going to be hiding in there. Oh shit, you're
Mm-hmm.
hiding over here too. Then suddenly like everything just all fits and
Mm.
it just works in this like beautiful maze and all this chaos starts making sense. And at the end, I'm just like, oh shit, like I didn't even think it was gonna look like that. And look, now it looks like this. So um it's a cool interactive experience, even though you literally are just staring at a canvas by yourself in a dark room that nobody's in.
It's
And
a
you're having
magical
like a
thing,
whole
painting.
universe of an experience, but it's really just you fucking staring. It's like we could travel all over the whole world, going to festivals. There's
Yeah.
a million people, and noises, and chaos, and dancing, and musicians, and people hanging from the ceiling. And people are like, "Oh, what did you do there? Did you have fun?" I'm like, "I stood in front of a canvas and I went like this the whole time."
Uh-huh. But it's a point
But
of
you're still like,
singularity. It's the center of all creation, is that little bit where the paintbrush touches the canvas and something's being created
yeah,
in a flowy kind of way. And that is your point of
yeah.
creation. And that's all that matters, that,
Right.
that
Like
moment.
you're focusing all of these life experiences and whatever, anything, and you're putting it into this one little single dot. And then
Uh-huh.
all of these, hopefully hundreds, thousands of people are experiencing it after it comes onto this canvas. Now, like, okay, forever, even past when I'm dead, people could look at my stuff
Yeah.
and then this other world opens up to them. And then each of those people have a completely different experience.
Uh-huh.
And each of those people's experience of the art could have nothing to do with each other. They could be like, I think this means this. No, I think this means this. And all of those people are right. And all of those people could be saying the complete opposite thing from each other. But in that painting now has sparked so many different imaginative ideas of what it could possibly mean. And maybe it opens up something in their subconscious that they didn't even have access to before. That's what I hope, that they, open something up that they've been hiding from or that they never discovered before. And they look at the paintings and then these portals just open up in all of these people. And then maybe they do something else great with that information and they pour it into a book or something, or
Yeah.
a poem or some music or something. And
Yeah.
we're all just like interconnecting in this strange way where, out of this moment of creation and, there's just an endless amount of energy that can come out of it if we're lucky to, accept it and switch it around back and forth. And it's just a fucking flat canvas and it just
Yeah.
never stays that way.
It
It
is
becomes
magic.
like a real, you know, it's like you're going into another dimension if you do it right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's inspiring to the viewer. May they be painters or not, they might be like, I want to go out and crush it in my own way, in
Mm.
whatever way they do it. So it is a spiritual experience. You are a spirit having spiritual moments as a human, expressing it as a vision. So I would totally say you are doing what many of us consider to be visionary art. I know the whole term visionary art could be limiting or just a name or a box, but you do navigate in visionary platforms or moments.
Yeah.
You're at music festivals, live
Mhm.
painting. You've live painted at Cosm. You're good friends of Jen Ingram from Tribe 13. So you're involved in the scene enough. Do you have any feelings towards the platform or visionary art? Is something that resonates with you? Are there things that flow with you, or maybe are not resonant? How do you feel about that platform that's still trying to find itself and its own
Yeah.
voice and its meaning in a world that doesn't value spirituality, true spirituality, and visions of spiritual experience?
I think that I love the genre. I love the like little, subcategory that we got labeled into or whatever. Because I like trying to understand the human and spiritual existence. What are we as humans? What are we as energy? And I think that's what world we're crossing back and forth between, where people are having psychedelic experiences in the visionary art scene. That's kind of what they're doing in there. They're, digging into their, um, you know, potentialities in their brains and their hearts and their minds, hopefully looking for some kind of self-elevation or understanding their souls a little deeper, whatever it is, understanding their existence, what their part is on the planet and with animals and plants, and like what is our place. And we're doing all of this trying to figure out who we are and what consciousness is and all of these things. So I think I love the category. I love the art that these people are trying to create. All these artists are kind of, I think we cross over back and forth because we maybe are having similar experiences and trying to figure out who we are as human beings, or, souls stuck in skin suits or whatever. But I do think what I would like to see more is people putting their own personal stamp on things more often. I think that a lot of the art that I'm seeing come out of people is a little, it's like lacking a little depth. And I think sometimes to me, it looks like people are maybe relying on the like medicine to dictate the type of art they're making, or not really digging within themselves, or maybe not ready to, or maybe that's not their goal of their art. But a lot of it looks the same, like a little redundant to me. And I like when people just pour their heart out on canvas. Obviously, half my shiz, that's actually what's happening. But it takes a lot to even have the vulnerability to do that. And I sometimes even regret doing that and sharing it with the world myself. So I don't expect that in everyone else.
That's your
But it took me
strength.
very long to even get there because I was doing like sort of like kind of more superficial stuff for a long time. But I just think that if we are so possessed as artists to share our work publicly, I think the deeper we share with ourselves and then share with the world, the more powerful it is, the more real we get, the more vulnerable other people can get, the more other people can have an experience with our work we could have with their work. Even if it's not art work, it's just anything that you're contributing to the world. Like if you're vulnerable, other people will be vulnerable around you, and people will live like in more of their reality and be less afraid to be who they are.
Yeah.
Instead of just, this is beautiful, this will sell,
Right.
or,
This will look great over my couch.
Yeah, exactly. Like or,
I love your art, if I can interrupt you.
Go ahead.
And you're doing it right to me.
Thanks.
Visionary or not visionary, mundane, fantastical, real or not, if I'm seeing an artist pour their emotions, being honest, being vulnerable, showing a true emotional, being a human being, good or bad, beautiful or ugly, they are really doing the work of God as gods in the flesh. And that's like the highest purpose of art. Sure, making things pretty and beautiful or cool too. We want to look at a painting and be like, oh, that's pretty. But if it's just pretty with nothing to say, it's just a bubblegum wrapper. And, there's a lot of pretty out there that has nothing to say. And if visionary art, spiritual art, art of God and spirit and interdimensional is saying nothing and is just a cool wrapper for festy kids who want to trip at a fest, then the scene is going the wrong direction,
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your kind words and your understanding of what I'm trying to do. And I would like to add to that, I just think it fits a little bit. Like the most feedback I've ever gotten from people, the most positive feedback is usually from the most scariest paintings or it's scary, the most like heart-wrenching paintings. I think that people have the most visceral experience with, where it confronts their pain, or sometimes even helps them move through it in real time with me.
Like which one would be a painting that people have issues with? Like maybe Callie having sex with...
Oh, I've had fights with people over that painting. Like
Why?
Cyber wars. Well, people find that like aggressively disrespectful. To the gods. I mean,
but that's what happened. He had sex with her to calm her down, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, in the short story, but she basically, they represent the same two sides of one God spirit or God power or whatever. And, you know,
Right.
one's like an active, kinetic energetic side. One's like more of a passive side. And, you know, she's like a demon slayer, demon destroyer, and like going
Yeah.
into the darkness to like, you know, move shadows and things. And, but you know, the sexual side of it has like really upset people and, you know, caused like a cyber uproar with me. It's been taken down from
But
platforms and things. But
there's no images of Callie having sex
there
with
is,
Shiva?
and that's what I come to is like, I wouldn't have done something
No,
disrespectful,
you
or,
just
you know,
give it a different perspective.
I just,
I've
I
never
did a
seen it from that angle.
I have.
Okay.
But so I wouldn't say that I'm like the creator of this idea. But I also, you know, I don't want to mean to be disrespectful to anyone by, you know, even attempting to paint her. But I felt called at the time to do that. And
I guess people could be like, "Oh, you're not even an Hindu, or you're not even
yeah, people have been really
a
upset.
Kali
And
follower, and only those are allowed to
right.
paint her." But you're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, can I connect to any god of any religion? Like,
Right.
don't
I
put
mean,
boxes on me."
it's a tough conversation. I understand why it like upsets people and they feel like maybe I'm taking something from them that I maybe don't deserve or shouldn't have or something, but I'm really just
Who's to judge
calling
that? How you know you
right.
don't have a past life or 20
Yeah.
where you were a devotee of
Well, that's kind of
Kali?
like with this painting, is I almost like the idea is like you could be anyone in any different reality at any dimension in any time space where, you know, you could have lived as anyone and shared different experiences. But
Right.
I respect their arguments. I try to talk to people with, you know, my knowledge and understanding of what I'm even trying to accomplish, and just bringing artistic awareness and beauty to something that exists that I didn't create even, you know.
Uh-huh.
But the most reaction I've even gotten from anyone in person was the one back there with the woman on the floor, and she's like in a pool of blood holding her heart ripped out of her chest, and then her and her higher self are behind her, kind of like sewing up the heart, and she's glowing and energy is coming out of her.
Why is
Um,
that confrontational? Because people will assume that she's being hurt by somebody else. Looks like
I
she
think it's
ripped
just
her own
it's
heart out, right?
like looks aggressively violent. I think at first to some people, and I was painting that at Sawani, at named Tipper. Like I don't know what year it was, but and
It's
someone
not a happy-go-lucky festival of painting, that's for sure.
I was risking a lot by bringing it there, and I was like, shit, this might go all wrong. But I was just felt really possessed by finishing that there at that period, because that's how I felt, and that's what I needed to paint.
What year was that?
That was, I think, 2016 maybe.
Okay.
And I brought it, and I expected like really kind of, I was like, shit, if people are upset by this, maybe I'll bring another painting that's like happy and like smiley faces or something, like, you know, cool people down. But one girl came up to me, and she was definitely tripped, but she comes up to me and she was like, you know, this is so disrespectful. How could you bring this here? It's so upsetting. You know, we're all trying to have this and that experience. Like, I'm so fucking hurt. Like, this is, you know, a disgusting display of what you could do or whatever. And there's blood for the people who are not looking at this right now. There's blood. It's like a cut open chest, whatever, heart, you know, spilled out.
Huh.
So, and I was like upset at first. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
tell
I'm
me
just
what
making
to
art. Like,
paint.
don't tell me what to do, bitch.
This is my experience.
Yeah, like, but instead I was like, all right, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And then we talked for like 10 minutes. And by the end, she was hysterically crying, and I probably was too. And I was just like, you know, tell me why it upsets you so much. Like, what happened? You know, and she basically just started pouring her heart out. She just really it was opening some visceral.
It triggered her.
Oh, super trigger. Some kind of painful experience what she was going through. And she was just like, you know, I haven't dealt with it. And
She didn't
you
want
put
to
it on
confront
display,
what
and I
you
didn't
were
want to confront
confronting.
it. And it really fucking upset me to look at it. And I was so mortified to see a big bloody heart and whatever, that, you know, really, it hurt my feelings. And, you know, I felt called out, whatever it was. Basically, by the end, I was like, oh shit, like, this is art. This is what it is. I fucking made it, you know? Like,
Yeah, I'm affecting people's emotions.
right, like, this is what I'm doing. You know, it's not just mine. It's not just for me anymore. It became like the world's at that moment. And I, in her insult where it started, got such a beautiful gift. I was like, you just fucking taught me how to be a fucking artist, you know, like, because we talked it out and we just built this little vulnerable, like little tank in front of a fucking million tripping kids, right? In a forest, middle of nowhere. And we were just having this moment, like these two strangers, and she went from these tears to like these little, you know, happiness smiles, and thanked me, and I thanked her, and I was just like, you know, thank you for sharing, this is beautiful. And then it just moved, and it transformed, and it became something else. And not to say that she was like healed after the day, or I was, but we had this moment of real humanity.
Yeah.
And or I don't know, humanity and spirituality colliding.
Yeah, you didn't fight her.
We didn't fight about it. We, you know, we just softened up and listened and understood, and it just fucking melted away. And then, you know, she really appreciated the art at the end. So I felt like in that moment I understood like what we're doing, you know, what we're really trying to do besides money or fame or career or this or that or success or something, you know. I think the true success is like that you are, you know, not only like keeping a diary of your own life, but you are also like marking these magical moments with people, you know, the same as like cave drawings, you know, back in the day, or, you know, drawings inside pyramids or something. Like we're witnessing our own lives. And then our metacognition, like we're thinking of thinking, and what does it mean to be a human, and we're putting it in these canvases, hopefully, and sharing it with other people, and hopefully enlightening their experiences, and we're all growing through the process. Stuff is just really fucking deep.
Yeah, no, like art, I don't want to say should's a tricky word to be throwing around, but like I enjoy when art can bring healing of any level. And by healing, I mean just energy moving through the artist. It's like, okay, I'm digesting this and I'm moving it out, and I'm healing it out of my thing. And then people seeing it in reflection and be like, oh, wow, that's moving something in me, and may it trigger me and affect me, maybe in a way that hurts. It also, it's kind of like an acupuncture needle that hurts, but it's a little exhaust for energy to move out.
Right.
And you're like, fuck, why did you prick me with your needle? But at the same time, thank you, because that energy was getting stuck in me, and I wasn't going there and putting my finger in it to release it. And that painting could be that needle.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, you fucking...
Same with the tattooing. You're not only putting art that activates the person, but you're probably touching
opening up channels,
some meridians, and breaking skin.
Yeah.
And
people just start crying sometimes. They're laughing. Right. They're in fear. They're in peace. They're sleeping. Like, it's so interesting. But you're right. If we're doing it right, we're just opening gateways to other thoughts and processes and dimensions and things. And
and when going back to like what visionary art is supposed to be, other than a scene of cool kids painting cool things that are so spiritual and magical and blah blah blah. Fuck all that shit.
While people are fucking passed out in their own puke.
It's like, I did so much, you know, of this, you know, I
haven't showered in 5 days.
Right, all that woke shit.
Okay.
But more than any of the superficial aspects of visionary art, if we're truly spiritual people doing spiritual paintings, we're also going through a process of healing our traumas, and the painting is our personal medicine for us and thus for others. So what we're creating, hopefully, or at least the intention should, once again the word should, but like ideally, is to create alchemical technology and tools that helps with the evolution of humanity, or at least pointing into a direction that is optimal in how humanity should evolve into. We should waken up our love. We should waken up our oneness and go back home, which is God, which is love, which is the realization that we're all spirit having this physical experience. And I think that true visionary art like your own helps move that energy one step closer. And we're not saving the world. We're not healing everyone. We're not this. But one little bit, one needle prick and one person is enough. One little bit of energy
Just
being
one
moved.
little bit, right?
That all is a
It's like
grain
little
of
ripples,
sand.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and we
who
all do
knows?
it
We affect
together.
one
And
little
that's why I want to
person.
believe in this
I know.
community and this scene and this platform, because I think ultimately those who are doing it for the correct reasons or for positive reasons, there is a good purpose to it.
Yeah.
And it starts with your inner healing and self-expression, like you're doing so beautifully.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing. I remember you doing a really cool collaboration at Cosm with Seth, the Tat Jew,
The Tat Jew.
and Lauren Nova, and Alex Polanco, who now is calling himself Sixto Luna.
Yes.
Are those like your homies from this
They
area?
are, yeah.
Tell me a little about them and that collabo. Like, did that ever finish? What happened with it?
Oh my God. This show will be finished like 50 years from now. So yeah, those are the homies. We got tight. Let's see. I met Alex at one of Amanda's workshops. And Lauren was there too. Yeah, the three of us were there. And we just, we clicked. Me and Lauren didn't talk till the end, but me and Alex talked the whole time because he's from the Bronx. And, well, he's from DR, but he lived in the Bronx and I lived over here. So, we just caught up and stuff. And then because he was local, we started painting together. And then we went to, let's see, at Luna Light. I think you were there that year too.
Yeah.
Maybe that was 2016 I shared something.
Something
I think
like
15,
that.
whatever.
Yeah.
16 probably. Lauren was there, and then me and her clicked a little more there because we painted together, and that's where I met Seth. And then, I don't know, we all just vibed, and it was cool, and we just stayed in touch, and we started, hanging out at all the venues and stuff.
Is Seth something to do with your tattoo career, or just a fellow tattoo
I met him
artist?
after.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
no, it just so happened that we both were painters and tattoo artists and stuff,
Okay.
and everyone's like, oh, you should know Seth, whatever, and I was like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. And then we met and we just, we just clicked, and it was really cool. And we have a lot in common because we do so many of the similar things with the career-wise and stuff. And then, no, we just kept hanging out, and we became a little crew and stuff. And then,
You have like a name to your crew?
yeah, we're called B Team.
B Team?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because we always, I don't know, we were always thinking we were like, not all the artists who were really getting invited to all the shit. We were kind of like on the sideline a little bit, but we thought we were like mad hype and stuff. So we're like, shit, we should get on, but we were like kind of in the background a little bit. And then we thought also like B was just like, we're just B. We are, we're just,
Okay,
we're just
like being.
like being, like pure beingness. So it has a couple of like
Yeah.
dual meanings or whatever. And then we started FaceTiming, once the whole world shut down and stuff, we didn't see each other. Seth lives in Pittsburgh. Lauren lives in Baltimore, or not Baltimore, but over there somewhere, Maryland. And now Alex is in Sixto is in DR. So we're all over the place. So we don't really see each other
Where's
too much.
DR?
In Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic.
So he moved there a couple. He's been back and forth, but he's there permanently now.
So that collabo, giant paintings.
So once he left to go to live in DR, he was living in Jersey, and then he dropped the collab with me. We hadn't touched it since 2019 because that was the last time we all saw each other. Was at Cosm when we started it.
Yeah.
And then he needed to downsize. He was leaving the country, so he dropped the collab off with me maybe 8 months ago. I started busting it out. And then I just dropped it off with Lauren maybe 3-4 months ago when I was driving down to Florida. So Seth got to get his hands on it too now. So we're all, we made a pact to not work on it unless we were all with each other. And then for 4 years didn't get touched. So we're like, fuck it. We need to we all live somewhere else now.
Yeah, let's do what we can.
Everybody get their little piece on it.
Yeah.
So it's in the midst of completely transforming right now. I don't know what it looks like.
Because you're also changing as people.
We're changing. It's like stale. It's from years ago. So now I just like erased the character I did and put some other shit and then gave it to Lauren and she fucking erased the face off it. Yeah. So I don't know what it's gonna look like, but it's gonna be it's in the works for.
Why did Alex
years.
change his name?
That's actually his real name.
Oh. Okay.
So I think one last name is his mother's, one's his father's. I forget, but and then so Sorry to tell your business.
I
but-
always love his name,
Yeah,
Alex
that out.
Polanco.
Yeah, they're both his name. One's like a middle name. One's his mother's. One's his father's.
Yeah.
So it's
Sixto
all.
Luna sounds badass too. Sounds more
It's,
shamanic.
yeah, that's maybe why he switched
Yeah.
it up. So
I haven't heard much of Seth.
yeah, Seth like fell off the end of the flat Earth. So
yeah,
I haven't seen him in a while.
He went too hardcore with the conspiracy
He's
theories.
hardcore.
Eh?
Let's go conspiracies.
Well, we love conspiracy theories,
we love 'em
especially
here.
since they've
Yeah, no,
mostly
he's
come true.
I think he's a little quiet. He might be in Instagram jail right now. I'm not sure.
Well, that's the thing. I think he went so hard
Yeah, I
that
think he needs to chill a little
they like shadow banned him or straight
Probably.
up banned him,
Yeah.
and then you disappear. And that was too bad for those who dared to talk during the COVID years. That now you never hear from them at all anymore.
Yeah.
Like, which is like,
Yeah,
oh,
I haven't talked to Seth in a while, so I don't really know what's his day to day. But I think he also tattoos more than he paints, so that might be what he's up to. Hasn't seen many paintings come out of him, but I don't want to speak too much for him. But yeah, no, those are my people. But we haven't seen each other all in one spot in a long time.
Yeah, hopefully in some future.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on the state of the world after the events of the last few years, and where are we at and where are we going?
Where are we at? Where we're going? All right, where I think we should be going? Shit, man. I can't say the word revolution on here, right? It'll be banned. I don't know. People
It could
just
be a
need to
love
open,
revolution.
People need to fucking open their fucking brains up right now. So look around, like use your mind, see what's really happening. There's a lot of stories going on and overlaps, and really use your discernment to see what's happening in the world and speak up for what your values are, what our rights should be, and take more responsibility in the world we want to create. I think leaving it up to the people that are quote unquote in charge is not where we're at right now. It's not where we should be. I think we really have to, as the majority who think that we don't have power, I think we really have to become empowered, and really like pull in to our reality what we want to happen for our future. I think there's a lot of things that forces that are working against us, against like natural order, natural law, and I think people need to start growing their food and getting their own survival skills up. And I don't know, I think we're living in like a really chaotic time right now, and I think it's waking up a lot of people because things are super shaken up. There's a fucking disaster all the time, and because of the internet, it's moving so fast, and we're aware of all of these constant things are bombarding our spirits and our eyes and our mentalities. And I think getting right within ourselves and trying to really do whatever we can to like be more in charge of our lives and create the futures we want, so that we can lift humanity and not get sucked into some kind of oblivion of disaster after disaster
and despair. It's
despair. It's a lot. We're
and
just overwhelmed, and
there's so much to pay attention to, and you want to be like back in the day. I was like, fuck politics. I don't want to look at none of it. It's all a bunch of bullshit. But now it's almost like you have to pay attention, because if not, they're gonna put the wool over your eyes.
Oh yeah, every other day they're passing new bills and laws to like take rights away from us and control us a little more and more and more. And I think we look up in the skies and they turn orange, and they say it's some fucking wildfire, and instead of I'm not going to say this shit on here, but, there's just one thing after another, and we have to just be aware.
It seems like they always got the next trick to disempower us.
It's just on schedule, it's on schedule, like hit them
we
here,
don't
hit
get
them
to
here,
catch
hit
a
them here,
breath,
and
you
there's
know?
land grabs, and this is going on fire, and that's going on fire, and the 1,000 cows die over here, and this one, that virus, and this and whatever the fuck, but
there's a lot of weird things happening.
a lot of
and
weird
we gotta
things
question it,
happening.
and we gotta hear all the perspectives and not hold on to any one perspective that we're closing ourselves to the next perspective neither. If anything, there's too much information, and it's hard to discern what's true and what's not true. There's like so much lies coming from all sides. How do we fine tune our intuition to know what feels right and what feels untrue?
Follow the money.
Uh,
I think that's the, if you want to be aware of what's going on, we can't distinguish little micro lies and micro truths so much. Like, it's very confusing to be so overwhelmed with information at such a fast pace. But if you want to really see what's going on, you see who's putting money where, who's getting money to say what, who owns what corporations, who owns what media channels, what are the vested interests? Why would someone say an opinion the way they say it? Because they're being backed by somebody else who's giving them money.
Right.
See how people are connected.
Who's in bed with who?
Who's in bed with who? And, I think at that point it makes things like pretty simple.
Right.
And when you see who's connected,
because if
and
you see
why
like,
they're
well, of
connected.
course they're going to say that if they just invested a bunch of,
Yeah, I just don't
shares
think
into the
there's
thing,
really,
they just passed a law.
yeah.
Like that shouldn't
And
be
if,
allowed.
right, and if everything seems to be, squeezing freedoms from people and imposing more and more control, those aren't the good guys. So, I don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's real, what's fake so much anymore. I know what I feel in my body, my reaction to things, and what I want for my future, and who I would trust. I'm talking about like, big corporations and, policymakers and politicians and governments and things. And, I trust the people. I don't trust who's getting paid to say what. And
Right. Was it difficult living in New York all those years?
God.
Like, I'm not saying like one side's good and one side's bad, but it seems like New York is very specific, the kind of mentality and beliefs they have. And it's not like, well, I'm from the other side, so I don't fit here. But you might be like, but I don't resonate what everybody around me is thinking. And how do you feel when like everybody around you is kind of like telling you you're wrong, or that you're taking a wrong side, or that you're a bad person for not believing like them? Is that like, does it make you want to like run away? Does it make you want to fight? Does it make you want to just surrender and let people be?
I think all of those things were real. I'm shocked at New York. The last couple years, New York has shocked me. I thought that because we're such a diverse population of people coming from every fucking country in the world, and we're all smushed into this one little place, living on top of each other and mixing, and it just, from my usual understanding of what it means to be here and what it means to be a person who enjoys this area, is that everyone's very open-minded and exposed to so much more, because you're not living in a remote area. You're living in like a hyper intense world of information. You're exposed to everything all the time. So in my opinion, people who live here, choose to be here, spend time here, are people who are free thinkers, and because they just have so much exposure to things. So anyway, I was very shocked to see that the last couple of years things have gotten very like draconian and things have shut down, and people have gotten like very much more I think people are hypersensitive now, and looking outside themselves to blame to blame, almost to make other people responsible for their own behaviors, expecting that we should dictate how other people will live around us and what they should put in their bodies or what they shouldn't put in their bodies. And people have been very loudmouth in New York about it. Like, you should do this, you should do this. Like, I used to fight with people on the train. They're wearing masks, I wasn't, or whatever. People would fight with me all day long. Sometimes I would just wear like a fake mask just so I wouldn't have to have a fight on the way to work or something. But I think people, in their fear, have been convinced that they have to fight for their life, which I try to understand. but I think the mentality and the psychosis that it's caused in this city is so much more intense than probably in other places because we all live on top of each other. We're all sharing energy constantly, and everything is chaotic and loud. There's not much nature here. Everything is cement and gray and lifeless, besides the people. But there's such an unnatural quality to the way we live here and the way that we go about our business, and the quality of life is very detached from the natural world. And because of that, it's easy to, I mean, we're being propagandized constantly. There's ads everywhere, especially on the subway. Every time you get on the train, there's digital ads now. It's buy this, do this, buy this, consume, 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 obey, obey, obey. And it's sometimes it's just like, big pharma, big pharma, big pharma, whatever they're pushing. It's, or it's just, everything just has some kind of like agenda, and it's always in your face here, and it's so unnatural, and people are just so overwhelmed and so panicked all the time, and people's mental health is really just declining here, in my opinion or understanding of looking around the city in the last couple of years. People are very stressed out, and it's, I don't know, it's just sad. I think we can do better. I think humans can do better than this. It makes me sad to think that we have so many issues that we're up against as human beings. A world where we could just wake up and eat the food off our trees and do what we want. And I don't know. I guess I'm an idealist in that way. I just think we're missing some of the human experience here.
Well, I don't see why not. To dream a world that's more natural.
It's just, it could be so simple. People don't need all of this extra stuff and rules and, influenced by giant corporations and the, government shoving shit down your throat and, dictating every way you which breathe and the way you move and what you eat and what you can't eat and what you could do and how far you can drive and what you're allowed to be as a human. I just think we need to really scale it back and get a little more natural and really basic.
Well, it's getting to an extreme of a version of humanity that gets to the point where few people are happy. I think people like us who follow their passions, who live in abundance, who hang out with other abundant, open-minded, kind, artistic people, we got a chance for happiness. But even I also get depressed on any given week for no reason, and maybe I'm just being affected by the collective depression of being a human at a time that things are making less and less sense. And it seems like shit's coming to a head. It seems like something is gonna happen, and COVID was probably, 10% of what's gonna come our way in the next year or two. And I don't know what it is. And it's kind of scary on one side, but at the same time, hopeful because something's got to give. Something's got to change. Something's got to give us a chance to go back to a more organic, truer version of ourselves, or wake us up into a new spiritual version of humanity where matter is secondary and we just activated our consciousness to a level that makes it easier to let matter go because we're very attached to it and that's not our fault. It's just how we grew up. And I'm not trying to convince you to leave New York, but if shit goes down, this is a hard place to go through that transition. This is not the place
anyone should be in a fucking apocalypse situation. That I know. I don't have intentions to live here much, much longer. I would like to be on a farm somewhere, growing my food and petting my fucking goats and shit. So swimming in the ocean every day would be nice and things like that. Real simple life. This city does what it does when you need it to do, for you. You come, you make money, you have some success, and then you dip. I think that's the point of it, look for something more natural.
You've been here all your life, right?
I haven't been in the city the whole time, but I've been in New York my whole life. And you know, there's only so much you can take, I think, or me personally. Sometimes like people like my grandmother, you know, she'll live and die in this city because she loves it. So, but for me, I need to like touch the grass and you know, sniff trees and talk to animals in the forest. It's like more my thing, but.
Well, I hope you find your natural paradise before that
Yeah.
time of transition. So
I know.
that will be a less stressful place to transmute into a world that we can barely imagine.
Yeah.
These
I
days.
think through all of this chaos that we've been experiencing like this intensely over the last couple of years has really like pushed people into a lot of people into another layer of understanding about what could possibly be going on in the world in the background. So I think it's a good thing in disguise. It looks scary and chaotic and it's a lot to digest, but I think because of the way we're so interconnected via social media, you know, it's hard to stop information from traveling so fast. And we, you know, people have been finding each other and speaking to each other, and ideas, huge ideas have been being passed around where at least people have access to things that could be alternative truths and don't just get their sources of information from one place anymore. So I think like the people's media has given us some hope in at least, hey, this one's aware now, this one's aware, maybe we can do something, we can organize, we can make this world a better place to be a part of, we can, you know, return things back to a natural state of being and, you know, living with the planet and instead of, you know, doing things to destroy it, and, you know, and having more of a natural human existence in getting away from like all of this reliance on digital things, you know, anything, digital money, digital art, digital everything, anything we're consuming that's digital and it's really not natural. You know, getting back to like bartering and things and, you know, just living simply, I think is a beautiful future. I definitely.
You're optimistic.
Yeah. For this interview's purposes.
Because you're being watched.
Me at night, I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
By the internet.
Everything's fine. Woo.
Do you feel the planet is overpopulated?
Is it flat Earth or a planet?
No,
we're not gonna go there.
I'm indifferent about the shape of the planet. It always, for my canvas, that could be round or that could be flat. It doesn't really matter as long as a kid is sitting on it, blowing on it, which also probably is not happening. But are you of the personal belief that there's too many people on this planet and there has to be a reduction of population in order for us to find our balance? Or is it like the other way around, like Elon Musk would say that we actually need enough humans to run the planet we've created, and that having too little people will make it impossible for the planet to sustain a world with too many old people without a workforce to hold it together? What resonates more?
We need more slaves. Don't die. You can never die.
Right.
I guess goes back upload to your spirit into this workhorse.
I guess it was what we were talking before. We're not even sure if Elon Musk is positive or negative. I don't know,
good guy, bad guy. Yeah, I'm not sure about him yet. He's a little questionable. But no, I think we are not overpopulated. I think it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. I think they're just trying to scare people into the scarcity and not reproducing, and, you know, so that they can have a controlled population and it's easier to be taken advantage of and, you know, be fucking work slaves and, you know, little worker bees and stuff.
Be unhealthy.
It's so much easier to control. And also I think, you know, people aren't having families and reproducing. They're probably maybe less happy. They maybe have less purpose. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, you know, but that could be, it could be part of a, you know, a bigger plan to kind of take the humanity out of people, you know, if you're just working and don't share it with other people. And but I think also anyone who's done any traveling knows this world is not overpopulated. It's just that everyone's stuffed into cities. There's plenty of open space. There's uncharted territories. There's fucking beyond the ice wall. There's like mad fucking open space and shit. Whatever. But
are you a flat earther?
I might be. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I like to listen. I like to listen and learn, and it's super interesting to me. But
It's good to learn and
I
listen
like
to
to
all.
I like to hear it all.
All perspectives.
And
Like you don't have to be like, I believe in this, and if it's
I'm
not
not
true,
I don't put my
cares?
stamp on anything. I just fucking listen and I research things and I
Yeah.
learn stuff and then I think of things that make sense to me. So whatever. I just think it's funny to talk about. But we're not overpopulated at all. I think it's just that the problem is that we're relying on certain corporations to feed us and house us and clothe us and do all of these things because we're at work trying to make money every day. When back in the day, people were more self-sufficient. They were providing. They had land, they had animals, they had plants, they knew how to grow food, they knew how to cook, they knew how to clean, they knew how to make clothing.
Take care of
They knew
themselves.
how to take care of themselves. So they're if everyone was more self-sufficient, if everyone who has a backyard fills it with fucking plants and grows a bunch of food and everyone in the neighborhood exchanges food, then you're not reliant on outsourcing everything you need to fucking survive. So if we changed up a little bit and took if we had the time and luxury and more responsibility to be more self-sufficient, if everyone's not just busting their ass at 3 jobs a day to stay alive, and have more time to dedicate to those things, then we could spread out more around the planet and everyone wouldn't be stuffed into cities, and we could take advantage of the resources, the natural resources that we have to learn how to function on a more self-sufficiently, independently. Not that we don't have to rely on each other, we do, but it would be much better if we relied on little people rather than always going to Amazon or whatever to get your goods and make billionaires, trillionaires, and it just has to be spread around more.
Well, I think it is possible, and I feel that a big part of the solution will be finding clean, free energy.
Yeah.
And ways of cleaning the water. Like those technologies, it's totally possible.
Well, that's been in existence. It's just that they fucking kill everybody and burn their labs down when they figure it out.
But they can't hold
Just kidding. That's not it doesn't.
Please don't put me in jail.
Ether is fake. It's not real. There's no free energy. I'm just kidding. But all the things that exist. But it's not in big corporations' interest to push it. And if they can't charge you for it, and if they can't abuse oil resources to make it, it would fall back on the sidelines. But it's too bad. I think that, there's millions of ways that we could be producing and harnessing energy that don't destroy the planet and things like that. If we did it ourselves, because we can't wait for the government to do it for us, because guess what? They're not going to, because it doesn't make them money and then they can't control us. So,
But that's not going to last forever.
I think people maybe are waking up to like
people are waking up.
A little
the
suspicious.
Truth is like the veil.
It's like, ooh, this is weird.
The ability to see truth and lies is changing. Both because there's so many like alternatives for news delivery, but also people's instincts are coming online.
Yeah.
People, like, even if we don't see ourselves as spiritual or whatever, still we're taking steps towards a more spiritual reality, and people will be able to identify like, oh, that's bullshit and this person's real, and things are gonna become clear. Like, maybe they want to beat us at the punch 2030, but I think by 2030 our spiritual powers will be online and they won't be able to pull any more tricks on us. Yeah. That's my personal belief.
Yeah.
Gotta believe it to manifest it, though.
Just has to stop blocking the sun.
Oh, he's such a loser. And we can all see it. He used to be a hero 4 years ago. We always do, such a hero. Now everybody knows he's a scumbag. And, that's great. Like, not that I think it's great that he's a scumbag, but it's great that we've been able to, at the beginning, I didn't believe it. My friend Germ in Montreal, episode number 2, if you ever want to see it, he used to be like, oh yeah, sucks. And he's trying, it's like, what? But he's a philanthropist. He's like out there in Africa trying to help people with vaccines.
What? He killed like fucking thousands of kids out there.
Well, that's the thing. You had to like.
Just kidding.
You had to like look into it further and further, and there's like, oh yeah, why is he buying all the land, and why did he invest into all these things that ended up killing people and pushing it and then denying that he is. Anyways, let's not get into like, this rabbit hole. You guys go keep going forever. We just lost half our audience.
That's all right. Back in Instagram jail.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, yeah, but you know, I'm pumped for the future. Like all that shit, fuck all that shit. Like really, people have to make the decision to put their energetic mind and body and spirit into the things that they want to bring to fruition. Like that's, I think, the power we have that we like forget the most is, you know, we outnumber all of those people who we think are controlling us, you know, and it's just a huge illusion. And if we just fucking take our money out of those institutions and put it into local businesses and support people who have ethics and morals that match with our own as much as we can, I think that's like the little things that people who feel like they don't have power can actually do is with their money. And
accept everybody in their differences, you know, like we don't have to be like one, we can all be one humanity while being very different from each other and having different beliefs and letting each other just, you know, be, as long as we're not harming each other. Would you have some final words of encouragement or advice to the different artists that tune into this show, who've just enjoyed so much to hearing all your points of views?
Do you still like my art? Let's see. Encouragement. I think that I think artists, it's pretty simple. Just like keep making art, stop judging yourself, keep learning more. You know, if you feel like your skills are lacking, you know, go hone your skills, take some classes with somebody, maybe me. You know, just and just keep pouring your heart into what you do. You know, don't make things just for money. I tried that a couple times with some paintings, a series I did. I was like, this will make fucking money. This will be awesome. And like, I still haven't sold half that shit. It's just, people could tell. So just, you know, take your soul and splash it onto canvas and just keep working and, you know, dedicate yourself and the things you do, and everything you do is art. You know, the way you talk, the way you learn, the way you communicate with people, the way you move, the anything you touch, you know, can be parts of your art that you're leaving for people. And, you know, say something with your voice. I think it's important. You know, we each have some kind of gift to share. You know, why else are we alive? I don't know. You know, there's some reason why we each have different instincts and different personalities and different experiences and different talents and crafts and things. And, you know, just make your life something useful to yourself and others. And, I don't know, don't let it go to waste. Just like stay on your fucking business. So.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, much
super
love.
Interesting journey.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for asking me.
You didn't throw up.
Oh, I'm gonna throw up now. That shit was like mad weird.
And thanks you guys for watching another episode of Chris Dyer's Creative Friends. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all those different things that help give this channel some momentum. I love you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Blessings! Next episode, Bird Cap.
I feel like cartoons are a good delivery device where people don't turn their brains off when they see them. Sometimes you'll look at really dramatic work about a dramatic topic, but we're defensive to being told how to feel, that I think sometimes we don't take in the message when the presentation is really dramatic or emotional. So I like the idea of being able to talk about things like grief and loss and depression and overwrought topics, but do it in a light-hearted way to where like people can get to the message.
So please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Big thanks and see you next episode. Peace.